college essays a great deal, and I committed an error. Not that I think I have committed an error. I didn't open up the essay. What I mean by that is, when you hear the word essay, you're conditioned to think, maybe a 5-paragraph essay, 4-paragraph essay. It has to have a thesis. It has to, have these things, these components, right? It has to have, paragraphs and transitionals and all that. And in most cases, they do, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, when we think of an essay, we think of them in that kind of format. And in the college essay, that type of thinking may hinder or prevent us from being creative. Yeah. And as I was talking with students yesterday about their college essay, it dawned on me that I didn't open it up. What I mean by that is, for example, I have a student who's writing a college essay, and I told the student, I said, why don't you write a piece? Instead of calling it an essay, I said, why don't you write a piece as if you are already a 34-year-old doctor, and write it as a journal entry, as your 34-year-old self. So by imagining yourself that you're no longer a 17-year-old student, but rather a 34-year-old oncologist who's attended Johns Hopkins and now finished their residency and now is a full-time oncologist who's contributing to the cure for cancer, write the piece as if it's a journal, and you're writing to yourself, reflecting on how did you get to this point. What an interesting way of presenting your piece, your prompt. And the prompt that student was answering is number 1. So I'm saying this to you as a way to apologize for not saying this to you earlier, but I'm going to free you of any kind of restrictions that you put on yourself or that I put on you unintentionally, because I want you to be open yourself, because people say, oh, I'm not creative. Of course you're creative. Another example, let's say that the prompt reads, reflect on a time when you challenged a belief or an idea. What prompted you to act, right? So another way of looking at that or answering that prompt is writing an obituary. You can write an obituary about an idea that you once held and you no longer held anymore because you killed it or it died, and so you're giving it that idea its rest in peace moment to show, and so that will show the college reader not only that are you addressing the prompt directly, right? But you're doing it in a creative way, right? So for prompt number 3, let's say, for example, something that's a concern to me is police brutality. And I was thinking, well, how would if that's something that I see as a problem in society, how would I address it in an essay? Well, the first thing I would do is, in the first piece, I would almost do it like not a screenplay, but a script almost, or like a teleprompter. Anderson Cooper, CNN, Monday, June 15th, 2016, and I put it in quotes. Oh, on this day, Philip Morris was shot and killed by police in New Orleans, and actually describe that, and then put at the bottom of that problem, and then start dealing with it head on. And I think that would be another creative way of addressing the prompt. as well. And so I'm saying this to you now, and I'm sorry I'm saying it to you so late, but I'd rather late than never. That when you look at your essay now, open it up. Open it up. Why? There's no limitation up to how you write that composition. Because I looked up the word essay, and it reads from the American Heritage College Dictionary, and it reads, an essay is a short literary composition on a single subject, usually presenting the personal view of the author. And I put the writer because anyone can write. And so I think that, ladies and gentlemen, we should give yourself that opportunity, and we're going to talk about each of your essays today, so that you can like release yourself from that incarceration of the 5-paragraph essay. And even what I suggested was for you to write 3 paragraphs. So, and now I'm telling you to just do whatever you feel you need to do. So, so another example is a student wrote how CGS impacted the student's life. And the initial essay was read like a resume. Oh, I've done this, and CGS has done this for me, and I'm like, it doesn't read like a compelling text, it just reads like, this is what I've done, right? Yeah. And I told this person, well, what was I told the student, what was it about CGS that impacted you? And the student said, well, the Arabic strand. Well, I said, well then, if the Arabic strand impacted you so much, write the first few lines of the piece in Arabic. Because that will, because if you're saying that this has changed you, well then how did it change you? Show me. And I called the parent to tell the parent about. And my intention wasn't to talk to the parent. My intention was to talk to the student, because I was reading it and I just felt like I needed to talk to the student. So I bring this up, ladies and gentlemen, so that to allow myself, to allow yourself the permission to not put limits on yourself in regards to how you write this. The only thing if you're going to go, if you dare, I hope, to take that risk, make sure that the form meets that function. The function is to answer the prompt. That's the purpose of it, right? The purpose of this piece is to answer the prompt. But just make sure that that form, that you write it, meets that function. So if you're talking about a belief and you want to do an obituary, your obituary is the form, but what's the function? The function is to address an idea that you were challenged, and it's no longer a challenge. So you're saying goodbye to that idea or that challenge, right? Mm-hmm. Same thing with a common society. Or you're doing like a screen, not a screenplay, but a teleprompt. You know, as is what Anderson Cooper said about the death of this victim, and then you are addressing, here's a problem and here's how I'm going to resolve it. I mean, what an interesting way of, but make sure that whatever creative form you're going to do, just make sure that the form meets fits the function of it, right? So that you can write more freely or feel less restricted.